Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jokomborero Chihoro, but I go by John, so just John is fine. This is all a bit surreal. I mean, last year I was at home watching Party Conference in my bedroom. Now I'm here on the main stage at Conservative Conference. So I'd like to tell you all a bit about how I got here. I was born in Zimbabwe and I moved to the United Kingdom 20 years ago when I was 4 years old. Believe it or not, when I first moved to Britain, I could not speak much English. And we moved here because my dad got a job as a social worker. He grew up in the middle of nowhere in Zimbabwe with very few opportunities at his fingertips. And he was the first person in his village to graduate with a university degree. And he managed to change his family's life with hard work and determination. And that is where I get my own determination to work hard and change the world. So I went to a regular comprehensive school right in the heart of South Birmingham. And when I finished my A-levels, I went on to university to study history. And during my time at university, I had a part-time job at Nando's, and I've heard it's the person I'm about to introduce his favourite takeaway. I wish I'd known. I could have gotten him a discount on his medium hot wings and broccoli. So after I finished university, I found myself unemployed. And like so many other young people, I was pretty nervous to be searching for a job at such an uncertain time for businesses. But the hunt was on. And it was only when I saw a job advert on Instagram of all places that I got my first break. And initially, when I first asked about the job, I was told, oh, it had already been taken. However, there was a slight glimmer of hope because the company offered me a few weeks of work experience. And then on my last day of work experience, when I was getting ready to pack up my desk and say goodbye to all the amazing people that I'd met, my manager called me into his office and said, things are pretty tough at the minute, but we'd like to keep you on through something called Kickstart. And that is how I became RMF Group's first Kickstarter. Being on the program was great. I mean, it really gave me an opportunity to get into the world of work and do some meaningful work and actually make a difference. And then that's not all. Once the 6 months of the Kickstart scheme had finished, I was offered the position as team lead of a whole group of Kickstarters. So you could sort of call me the Kickstarter in chief now. And thanks to this scheme, a whole range of opportunities have opened up in the post-pandemic world that simply did not exist a year or so ago. I've had the opportunity in a very difficult situation to start my career and progress. My colleagues and I are very blessed to have been given that opportunity, and I have no doubt that we have a Chancellor who believes in young people. People like me who started at Nando's but are now Kickstarter in chief and at the beginning of an exciting and rewarding career. I believe with the right approach, with inclusivity, compassion and hard work, we can change this country for the better and look to the future. And this Conservative government knows how. And now let me introduce you to someone who represents all of those qualities and much more. He's the man who gave us furlough, Kickstart, Restart, and some really cool videos, to be fair. It's my privilege to welcome to the stage MP for Richmond, Yorkshire, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rishi Sunak.
Thank you. Whatever it takes. That phrase and those press conferences were my introduction to so many of you as Chancellor. It was daunting to face such a challenge in my first days in office. And what it also meant is that more than a year has gone by before I'd have the chance to meet you all properly. And that's why these last few days have been such a joy, meeting you all face to face and hearing so many of you say to me, "Wow, you're even shorter in real life." Nothing can ever prepare you to become Chancellor, especially in recent times. There have been occasions when it really did feel like the world was collapsing. In those moments, there are certain things I fell back on. Yes, my family. Yes, my colleagues. Yes, my tremendous Treasury team. And yes, the person who made all this possible, the person who delivered a thumping Conservative majority, my friend, our leader, the country's Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. But the other thing I fell back on is something we all have in this room. Our values, our conservative values. I believe in some straightforward things. I believe that mindless ideology is dangerous. I'm a pragmatist. I care about what works, not about the purity of any dogma. I believe in fiscal responsibility. Just borrowing more money and stacking up bills for future generations to pay is not just economically irresponsible, it is immoral. Because it's not the state's money, it's your money. I believe that the only sustainable route out of poverty comes from having a good job. It's not just the pounds it puts in your pockets. It's the sense of worth and self-confidence it gives you. So I will do whatever I can to protect people's livelihoods and create new opportunities too. And when it comes to those new opportunities, I am very much a child of my time. I spent the formative years of my career working around technology companies in California. And I believe the world is at the beginning of a new age of technological progress, which can bring jobs, wealth, and transformed lives. So, pragmatism, fiscal responsibility, a belief in work, and an unshakable optimism about the future. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what it will take, and we will do whatever it takes. And there can be no prosperous future unless it is built on the foundation of strong public finances. I have to be blunt with you. Our recovery comes with a cost. Our national debt is almost 100% of GDP. So we need to fix our public finances. Because strong public finances don't happen by accident. They are a deliberate choice. They are a legacy for future generations and a safeguard against future threats. I'm grateful. We should all be grateful to my predecessors and their 10 years of sound conservative management of our economy. They believed in fiscal responsibility. I believe in fiscal responsibility, and everyone in this hall does too. And whilst I know tax rises are unpopular, Some will even say unconservative. I'll tell you what is unconservative. Unfunded pledges, reckless borrowing and soaring debt. Anyone who tells you that you can borrow more today and tomorrow will simply sort itself out just doesn't care about the future. So yes, I want tax cuts, but in order to do that, our public finances must be put back on a sustainable footing. Now, Labour's track record on the public finances speaks for itself. Since 2010, we've had 5 Labour leaders, 7 shadow chancellors, and innumerable spending pledges. And in all that time, they still haven't got the message. The British people won't trust a party that isn't serious with their money. And that's why they vote Conservative. We must never forget that the fundamental economic differences between us and Labour run very deep. Differences not just about debt and borrowing, but about how to deal with the real pressures people face in their lives. And right now, we are facing challenges to supply chains, not just here, but right around the world, and we are determined to tackle them head on. But tackling the cost of living isn't just a political soundbite. It's one of the central missions of this Conservative government. Picture this. You're a young family. You work hard, saving a bit each month, but it's tough. You have ambitions for your careers, for your children. You want to give them the best, more than you had. Now you tell me, is the answer to their hopes and dreams just to increase their benefits? Is the answer to tell that young family the economic system is rigged against you and the only way you stand a chance is to lean ever more on the state? Be in no doubt, that is the essence of the Labour answer. And not only does Labour's approach not work in practice, it is a desperately sad vision for our future. But there is an alternative. An approach focused on good work, better skills, and higher wages. Approach that says, yes, we believe in you, we will help you, and you will succeed. And better still, it's more than words. It's a plan in action, a Conservative plan, and conference, it is working. Governments rarely get to set the tests by which they will ultimately be judged. And our test is jobs. Remember, as economies around the world pulled the shutters down, forecasters were predicting unemployment to reach 12%. Millions of people were on the precipice of losing their jobs, their livelihoods, their homes. Well, the forecasts were wrong. The unemployment rate is at less than 5% and falling. That's lower than France, America, Canada, Italy, and Spain. And we now have one of the fastest recoveries of any major economy in the world. Now, it wasn't that the forecasters had bad models, no. It's just their models did not take account of one thing. And that was this Conservative government, our will to act, and our plan to deliver. An increased national living wage, the Restart programme, sector-based work academies, doubling work coaches, job-finding support, traineeships, apprenticeship incentives, skills boot camps, and the Prime Minister's lifetime skills guarantee. All things we are doing that won't just help people, but will give them the means and the opportunities to help themselves. I believe in good work and better skills and higher wages. I believe that every person in this country has the potential to become something greater. And I know that we, and only we, the Conservative Party, are the ones that can make that happen. And our economy cannot be what we need it to be without the courage, creativity, and sheer force of will that each new generation brings. Yet, at its peak, just under 1 in 3 workers under 25 were on furlough. 1 in 3. That's 1 million people who didn't have the fallback of a career history or a network of contacts, and in many cases hadn't even moved into their first real job. So what did we do? We created the Kickstart scheme, up, running and working in a matter of months. A landmark program that is helping young people start exciting new careers. And thanks to our plan, young people, just like John Chihuro, who introduced me today, are starting those new jobs in their thousands. So, to give more young people the same chance as John, I can confirm that we are expanding our successful plan for jobs into next year. The Kickstart scheme, extra support through the youth offer, the job entry targeted support scheme, and our apprenticeship incentives, all extended because we believe in the awesome power of opportunity, and we are going to make sure that no young person in our country is left without it. But what we do today means little if we don't also have a plan for tomorrow, a plan for the future, a future economy shaped by the forces of science, technology, and imagination. The years I spent in California left a lasting mark on me, working with some of the most innovative and exciting people in finance and technology, watching ideas become reality, seeing entrepreneurs build new teams. It's not just about the money. I saw a culture, a mindset which was unafraid to challenge itself, reward hard work, and was open to all those with the talent to achieve. I look across the United Kingdom, and that culture is here too. In the young people I've already spoken about today, unencumbered by timidity and orthodoxy. And it's there in our willingness to take risks, not just on companies, but on people. People with the raw potential to create a wave of the most dynamic, high-growth companies, a wave that will reach the farthest corners of the world. That optimism, that unshakable belief that the future can be different and better, was also at the heart of Brexit. I remember, over 5 years ago, being told that if I backed Brexit, my political career would be over before it had even begun. Well, I put my principles first, and I always will. I was proud to back Brexit, proud to back Leave, and that's because, despite the challenges, in the long term, I believe the agility, flexibility, and freedom provided by Brexit would be more valuable in a 21st century global economy than just proximity to a market. That in the long term, a renewed culture of enterprise, willingness to take risks and be imaginative would inspire changes in the way we do things at home. Brexit was never just about the things we couldn't do. It was also about the things we didn't do. That's why we've introduced the super deduction, a UK first in tax policy, which is triggering an explosion in capital investment. That's why we created the Help to Grow scheme, another UK first, to help small and medium-sized companies digitise, skill up and scale up. That's why we launched the Future Fund, another UK first in government investment, backing high potential startups. My point is this. Even if you can't see it yet, I assure you the future is here. Last year alone, the UK attracted more venture capital investment to our startups than France and Germany combined. And, along with enhanced infrastructure and improved skills, we are going to make this country not just a science superpower, not just the best place in the world to do business. I believe we are going to make the United Kingdom the most exciting place in the planet. Take artificial intelligence, once the stuff of science fiction, now it's reality, and we are a global leader. The steam engine kicked off the Industrial Revolution. Computers delivered automation. The internet brought information exchange. And as the latest general-purpose technology, AI has the potential to transform whole economies and societies. If artificial intelligence were to contribute just the average productivity increase of those three technologies, that will be worth around £200 billion a year to our economy. And so today, I'm announcing that we will create 2,000 elite AI scholarships for disadvantaged young people and double the number of Turing AI world-leading research fellows, helping to ensure that the most exciting industries and opportunities are open to all parts of our society. New policy focused on innovative technology, supporting jobs for the next generation, a sign of our ambition for the future. Because that's why we are here. All of us. That's why we became members of the Conservative Party. That's why you all give up so much of your time sacrificing things that are important to you in order to help build a better future. You know, the longer I spend in this job, the more I realise that the worst parts of politics are driven by fear. Fear of change. Fear of losing, the fear of being wrong, even fear of the future. And when people get scared, they create divisions. They say, you're either with us or you're with them. But you cannot make progress if you're pitting people against each other. That's what you get from a tired, fearful sort of politics. We saw it last week in Brighton. It's not just that Labour don't like us, they don't even like each other. Whereas we, the Conservatives, are now and always will be the party of business and the party of the worker, the party of the private sector and the public sector, a party for the old and the young. The British people want a party that can get things done. So, at just the moment when it feels like we've done enough, that we've gotten through, that we can take a rest, we must not stop. Now is the time to show them that our plan will deliver, and now is the time, at last, at long last, to finally turn to the future. Thank you.